Welcome back everyone to a new design release. This one is called Rings. This one is designed with the whole idea of the neon lights, the smoke in the background, just for a really cool modern type of look. But let's take a look through our layer options here just so you have an idea of what to expect in this design. So we got some options in here to take a look at, but everything is pretty straightforward. But let's take a look. We've got a subject at the top. We'll get to him in just a minute, but it's gonna load up like this. At the top, as per usual, are our color grading layers. So this is going to add a little bit of contrast and a slight bit of color toning to the overall image. Again, I always recommend bring your subjects in with their color neutralized, and the color grading will look good. If you bring your subjects in a little bit warm from the start, the color grading could warm them up a little bit, but you can always just expand this group and adjust the opacities of these color grading layers to get the result that you want. All right, so those are in there. Below that's our facial highlight layers, which we'll take a look at. Basically, these are used to boost the highlights on the faces of your subject, just so they kind of pop off the background a little bit more. And there's two layers. The bottom one is for lighter skin tones, and if you hover over, you can see that in the description of the layer text. The top one is for darker skin tones. Again, you can adjust opacities and things as well on those, but we'll look at that in a minute. All right, if we come on down, we have a clipped layer, which is clipped down to this foreground smoke. So this is what's giving us this smokiness in the bottom here. And then this is a hue saturation adjustment layer, which is going to allow you to colorize that. So again, you just select this layer, and then from your properties window, you can set the hue to any tone that you would like there, change how saturated it is, change the lightness, things like that. So all done in there in the hue saturation adjustment layer. So that's the colorizing of that smoke. Below that, we have our subject layers, as I always have marked in red. So let's start down where the subject goes, and that's going to be in this group. So we're going to expand this group, and you'll see subject goes right here inside this group. Attached to that group is a little bit of colorizing for the lower subject and some darkening of the lower subject above that. I like to add these for these types of designs that have some neon-y type of effects, just because it helps sell the idea that they're in that environment with all that glowing light and the way that things fall off. So we'll see that again as our subject gets dropped in. But let's keep going. Below that, this is just an optional text group. So if you're looking to throw some text in here, I just have this set up as a group. This has just got plain editable text. The fonts that I'm using are linked on the product page. And then I've got some outer glow effects applied to the group. So any text you put in this group will pick up that glowing effect. All right, so that's in there as an option. If you want to turn that on and throw some text in there, that's already set up. Now below that is our overall background color. Okay, so this is another hue saturation adjustment. So you could just come up, slide this over to whatever tone that you want. Again, if you're looking for a specific color, using a site like hslpicker.com or something similar will allow you to sample a color, take that hex value, stick it in the website, and it'll tell you the HSL settings needed for to match that color up. All right, so let's reset that. So that's going to change our whole background color. Below that, we just have some darkening down here to just make that a little bit more dynamic at the bottom so it's not drawing too much attention. Then we have our overall smoky background in here. And then below that is where we have some options. So I've got three groups set up. So by default, it's set to the medium-sized rings. We also have some larger rings and some smaller rings. And what's really fun about this is within each of these groups, each of the rings are individually layered. So you could come in and create custom lines out of these, or kind of custom shapes or patterns. You know, for instance, if we wanted to turn a few of these rows off, if you just wanted to make like a partial wall in behind, or to start to build like some sort of shape, like you could turn a couple of those off. Let's go up here, turn a couple of these, and you could start to make some diamond shapes or something. So it's really fun to get in here and play with some different options you can see on the website and the product page, I actually have some samples of where I played with some different shapes and things. So that's pretty fun. So they're all the same way. The medium ones, again, all have individually layered options in here, and the large ones as well. All right. And then below that is just a background layer, which again, for a design like this, typically you're just going to leave it black. But if you want to experiment with other colors, that's absolutely there, and you could do that. So that's pretty much, in a nutshell, everything that's in here and set up and ready to go. So let's just bring our subject in. So again, I've got a subject up here. Let's turn him on. And what we're going to do is just expand our group that he goes into, and I'm just going to drop him right into the group. There we go. And you'll see there's some darkening. So that's where he's getting applied to the subject now that he's in the group. So darkening the legs, again, so he kind of just fades off and not stealing attention, right? We want everything on the face. And then we got a little bit of this color cast, again, that's happening on the lower body as well. All right. So again, you would just drop them in. Command or Control T to size and replace. So if you wanted to make a little bit smaller or larger, you could definitely do that, right? Just place your subject however you like. Become a little bit bigger. And then apply that, and then it's really just coming up with the background option you would like. So if you want to do like a larger, like it could be cool to do like maybe just a row of, let's see here, like say a row of large rings. That looks pretty cool. You could just do like a big center ring, looks pretty cool. So this is where it gets fun to kind of figure out exactly what you want this to look like. So I like that. That looks pretty cool. But again, you could turn on the medium ones and do the same things. Let's turn a few of these off and turn a few of these off. So like even that looks really cool to me. I like that. Let's just leave that right there. That looks pretty sweet. All right. So again, have fun playing around with those and creating some different shapes and patterns with those neon ring lights in the background there. Now up to our facial highlights we talked about. So let's come up here. We're going to do the lighter skin tone. Since we're working with a lighter skin tone, I'm just going to click the black mask. Come over to the brush here. I have my flow set at 23. So just a white brush. And oops, let's jump back on this. And just kind of paint over his face a little bit. And you see what's going to do is just going to lift those highlights a little bit on his face. You can see as I turn that off and on. Just so, again, it's a portrait. We want to be seeing his face. We want that nice lighting on the face. So that's just going to help bring those highlights up a little bit if you need it. If you don't, you can just leave that as a black mask or turn the layer off. And there you go. It's as simple as that. To drop your subject in, set your background how you like, set your colors, and you're good to go. All right, hope you have a lot of fun with this one. Hope it does really well for you for your teams and schools and all the different things. Your seniors, I would love to see some samples that you put together, so please always feel free to share or go over to our Facebook group, GHP Backgrounds, and share in there as well. And just can't wait to see what you guys do with this. See you on the next one.